Good morning and welcome to Bringing the Zoo to You. My name is Nicolette, this is Jill, and this is Whitney. We're keepers here at Wild Encounters at Brookfield Zoo, and we're here to talk to you today about our Wallaby Joeys. Wallabies are really interesting animals. As marsupials, the babies spend most of their time growing up in the mother's pouch. So they do have a flap of skin on their belly, and that's where the babies hang out most of the time. That's where they'll nurse on their mom. And they can also hang their heads out. So we have three Joeys right now. They're slightly different ages. We have Whitney, who is about 8.5 months old. In the back corner there is the mom Talia with her Joey, who doesn't have a name yet, and she's only about 7.5 months old. And inside the teepee, popping out, that's our oldest Joey, and he's about 9 months old. So they're going to be born really, really tiny. They're only about the size of a jelly bean when they're born. Their eyes aren't open yet, they don't have fur, even their hind legs aren't developed. So they crawl from the birth canal up to the mom's pouch. And the mom doesn't even help them. She might just lick a small path in her fur to help them along, but otherwise they do it all on their own. And once they're in the pouch, they're going to spend several months, about 8 or so months solely in the pouch. At about 8 or 9 months old, they'll start hopping out and exploring near mom. And at that point, they'll still be nursing, but learning from mom what kind of foods to eat, who the other wallabies are, and kind of showing them how to navigate their environment. So Whitney here is a little bit of a special wallaby. Her mom actually was going through some medical procedures. She's fine now, so don't worry about her. But her mom was having that done, so the vets found it in her best interest for Whitney to be hand-raised at that point by keepers. So a few of us are able to bring her home, but really the whole team in this department really helps to take care of her feeding, bottle feedings, introducing her to new foods. So we have some willow here, maybe she'll want to munch on that. Our animals get browse all the time, so they get different types of leaves to chew on. And that's a lot of what they'll be eating out in the wild, is they're mostly grazers and browsers. So they're gonna be eating grasses. And we've got William visiting us. He is one of a perfect example of a wallaby that was hand-reared by keepers back in 2013 and 2014. And now he lives out in the mob with everybody else. And his mom is out here as well.
Sherman is William's half-brother.
That's right. Yep, Sherman over there on the left. Yep, that's William's half-little brother. So his mom is very experienced. But William was raised in a similar circumstance to Whitney here. So many of you, if you've been to the zoo, you might have met William. You may have even had a chance to pet him in the past. He's really well socialized after being raised by keepers. And we suspect that Whitney is going to have a similar upbringing as well. So you can see that even though they were bottle raised by people, they can still end up really healthy. He is, what, 9 years old now?
I think so, yeah.
Yep, so he's 9 years old, and in captivity they could live over 10 years. Out in the wild they might live maybe 8 or fewer years. So Whitney here is still being bottle fed 5 times a day by keepers, but she's also eating some of the grain that the other wallabies get. You can see her eating some of her willow branch right now, and she's really good. So she does spend a good portion of time in the pouch, but she feels confident enough now where she can hop out, she can get her exercise, and eventually she'll also be reintroduced to the mob out here. And in case you didn't know, a mob is actually what a group of kangaroos or wallabies are called.
Now, how many wallabies are in the mob here at Wild Encounters?
Right now we have 14 adults, and then we have the 3 Joeys.
Have they all been born here?
Not all of them. Some of them are from other facilities, and some are rescued from the wild.
Yep. So these animals, their native land is southeast and eastern Australia, as well as Tasmania. So they're called the Bennett's wallaby specifically, and they can also be called the red-necked wallaby.
Oh, because they have a little bit of a red neck there.
Yep, so this is the typical coloration. They've got the brown, a little bit of gray, and the white fuzzy bellies, which her little fuzzy belly has just grown in.
Now, what do they eat besides browse?
Besides browse, they eat a lot of the grass. We never have to mow our lawns over here in Wild Encounters because they take care of the grass on their own. And they also receive grain and sweet potato and carrots.
Now, Talia's little Joey over there is just kind of hanging out of the pouch. What's going on?
Yeah, so looks like it's napping right now, and they will kind of hang out. The mom can actually, it's a muscular pouch, so they can loosen it and tighten it as they see fit. So if she needs to get somewhere and she's hopping, she can tighten up that pouch to keep the Joey more secure. Or like this, she can loosen it up and let her Joey kind of hang out.
And about how much longer will that Joey be in the pouch?
She'll spend a few more weeks, and then you can see Sherman on the left. He's about a month older than her, and he's already pretty independent now. So he will still continue to nurse for up to a year, but for the most part, he's going to be eating the grasses and the grain and the veggies that we provide.
And how long do they actually stay in the pouch?
Pretty solidly for about 7.5, 8 months. You'll see their head and feet poking out in that span of time. But it's really actually hard to tell when they're born because we knew when they were breeding, but because the baby is so tiny, it takes a while for keepers to actually see the pouch movement to know that there is a Joey in the pouch.
So you have to do some reverse math to figure that
Exactly.
out. Okay. All right. So how many females and males are here?
Right now we have 8 males, we have 6 females, and then of the 3 Joeys, we know that Whitney is a female and Sherman is a male, but we're not really sure about Talia's Joey yet.
Okay. Sorry, I lost my place. I do that a lot because I am not paying.
No worries.
I'm not paying attention.
So you see she's using those ears too, so they do have long ears. I think they kind of look like giant bunny rabbits.
Yeah.
So as a prey species, they need those ears to be able to hear what's around them and look out for predators. Out in the wild, it would mostly be humans and dingoes.
Now the Wallaby Yard is open right now, correct?
It is, yeah.
Well, there's people right behind me, so I know that's correct.
It is open.
Usually if you come during the day, especially during the summer on a hot day, the wallabies tend to be laying around the fence line in the shade. I usually recommend people come bright and early, right when we open, especially on cloudy or overcast days, because the wallabies are a lot more active then.
That's true.
Now, does their natural habitat in Australia and Tasmania get as hot as it is here in Chicago today?
It will get very hot, and they do also experience winters, although on an opposite schedule from us here in the United States. So they are winter hardy animals as well. So even in the winter, when it's pretty cold out for most of us, they do grow in a thicker coat, and we do give them access to a heated barn. But they are able to be out all seasons long, all 4 seasons while they're living here in Chicago.
So the 90-degree temperature doesn't really bother them?
Not really, and this is what they'd be doing in the wild. Some people do notice that they hang out, like Jill said, along the perimeter. And that's because they're crepuscular as well. And what that means is they're most active during dawn and dusk. So they're out foraging, looking for food during those cooler hours, and they spend the rest of the midday in the shade.
What was that term again?
Crepuscular.
That's $1 million
Yep.
word. I'm going to have to remember that. Crepuscular. So is there anybody else besides wallabies in the Wallaby Yard?
Oh, we do. We actually have a tortoise, Rotunda, and she spends her time also out here many days of the year. Well, in the summer at least.
Yeah, when it's warm enough.
Yeah, when it's warm enough, usually above 80 degrees. You can find her out in the yard as well, but she'll be eating grass and kind of walking across the path. She's pretty fearless, so there's a good chance if you come to Wild Encounters on a warm day, you'll see Rotunda. All right, folks, well, we love seeing you and doing this interactive, virtual, bringing the zoo to you. Please come and see us in person. Come meet our Wallaby Joeys and Rotunda, and maybe you'll get an up-close experience and get to meet William, and when she's ready, Whitney as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy your day.